We went and said, yeah, we are from India, we are from Wipro and all those things. Colonel said, yeah, what is the use? You guys are no good. Why is he telling, we went with so much excitement and all those things. So I tried to do so many things in India, nothing happened. So, but anyway, you seem to be good guys. Let me introduce to Ray Nurda. So introduced us to Ray Nurda. So then I met him second time, something happened. But that time I met him, he was completely a changed man. So he founded TIE, he was helping entrepreneurs, he was doing so many things. I asked Colonel, why did you change your mind? No, things are different now. So that speaks of him. He doesn't have a fixed notion about anything. But the most interesting thing I remember about Kanwal is his interactions with K.V. Chandrasekhar. As many of you know, K.V. Chandrasekhar used to work for me in Wipro. And later he went to US and started a company called Exodus Communications in 1994. It was a company which is ahead of its time. Essentially wants to offer bandwidth as a service, kind of, or internet kind of situation. I still remember it was a small room in which he started with one Sun server and trying to offer internet to small and medium companies in Silicon Valley kind of situation. So then he wanted to go further, and he was not able to do that one. So he attended TIE conference in 2005. So he met Kanwal and said, hey, Kanwal, I am trying to do this company. Can you help me? He looked at him and said, fine, and all those things. Nothing happened for 3 months. So one day he gets a fax, send me a business plan. So Chandrasekhar sends a business plan. So then meets them. By that time, Jagdish was also part of the team. And he ripped the business plan. At the end of the meeting, these fellows felt so small that I think world has gone. That is the kind of feeling they had. So then he gave them lunch. So that means these people thought, okay, maybe situation is not so bad. So then he took them around and said, look, I like you. So he said, why? He said, you have the intelligence of a Madrasi and aggressiveness of a Punjabi. So as many of you know, Chandrasekhar didn't go to school in the US. He is a product of Madras Institute of Technology. His only experience was in Wipro, so he went to US. So it's a very unusual person to start a company in US. He's not from IIT, he's not from MIT, he's not from Stanford, and he didn't have experience in HP or Oracle or something. For somebody to start a company and have the guts to do this one, and somebody else to recognize is a great thing. So he wrote a check for $250,000. Next thing. But $250 may look small, but during those days it was very big money. And the interesting thing is, these $250,000 got $3 million by others. So that's the beauty of this one. When Kanwal writes a check for $250, many people think I can write a check for $250 or $500 and all those things. He did that, and more important, he became a co-founder of the company. He is not just an investor. He was there every day, every time, whenever it's required, introduced people. He took the company to such which went public, and it was a few $1 billion valuation company when it went public. So that is Kanwal. Kanwal co-founded TIE. TIE, as many of you know, has 51 chapters in 11 countries, 11,000 members, more than 1,500 charter members helping the cause of entrepreneurship, fostering entrepreneurship globally. So today there are about 12 chapters in India and is thriving. And even today, any TIE chapter calling him for any time, he will never say no. So that is his courage, and this one. So that is Kanwal. I request Kanwal to come and give a talk.
Yeah, so maybe I should give some more details on that Exodus story. I think this is fine. June, when Chandrasekhar, along with hundreds of people thrusting their business starts at me at TIE conference in Silicon Valley, And I had a shoebox full of tight business cards, and I was processing them at one day, 3 months later, and I saw this business card where I had put a note, I should talk to this guy. And so, there were thousands of cards, I'm filing them in the circular file, and this card says, so I put it aside, and so at the end I said, I should call this guy up. And so I called him up. I said, Chandra, I don't have a business plan. Can you fetch me a business plan? He says, no, I'll bring it over. And I said, no, you can put that, fetch it to me, send me an email. He said, no, I'll bring it over. And I said, all right. So he brought it over. And it was a very simple business plan. They were going to do the business internet service. BIS, at that time, the ISPs had become pretty common. $20, all you can eat, ton of internet. AT&T was in the business, and there were maybe 50 companies. So I said, business internet. He said, yeah, well, we are going to be different than those guys. We will offer the businesses high bandwidth as compared to the dial-in. And so I said, it appears to be a commodity service. And he said, by the way, I need some money before we talk any further. I said, I haven't read your plan yet. I haven't, spent time. I haven't done any due diligence. He said, well, we are going to shut down, pretty soon if you don't have the money because I haven't paid my people in several weeks. And I said, not my problem. He said, you haven't paid. He said, well, I think you will like us, and why don't you write a check to us, and then we'll talk more. I said, that's not how the business is done. But he was able to talk me into writing the check before I made a decision to invest, and he was at the right time at the right place because his notion of selling the internet to business people was very timely, and millions of people were signing up to become internet users, and there was a sense that millions of these potential consumers are on the internet, the business will follow. So he and I we spent some time thinking through, and we very quickly came up with the idea that what we need to offer is the data centers, internet data centers, where we have a full service capability offered to the businesses. It can't fail, flexible bandwidth that you need. If your business doubles overnight, we can give you twice the bandwidth. And so we defined this notion of internet data centers. Three of us, and I told him, get rid of all the other things you had. He had about 30 other things he wanted to offer. Application development, this. I said, no, we will offer the flexible infrastructure and reliable infrastructure that businesses would need. And if businesses have presence on the internet, where they're making money, they can't fail. And of course, it was very timely business, and it took off like a rocket. 1 to 2% of the population at large everywhere is entrepreneurial. That's it. Some populations it's close to 1, others it's close to 2, and I think Indians are probably one of the most entrepreneurial people in the world. It's probably closer to 2. So when a person walks to you that I want to be an entrepreneur, it's very easy to put him to this 98 to 99% bucket. That's the arts. It's only 1 to 2% of the arts that this person would be an entrepreneur. And so a person like me who's meeting with large number of people have to process very rapidly. Because you can waste lots of your time with people who are not going to be entrepreneurs. And so you have to start developing some filters, some things that you start to look at certain traits, certain behavior things that starts to give you that higher percentage. So 1 to 2% is very low odds. And almost no entrepreneur gets any encouragement at home. No father will say, son, entrepreneur bano, buthe maro. Right? It takes 2, 3, 4 years before you start to see any money without a paycheck. Especially in India and almost everywhere. Get settled, marry, get a stable job. IBM, Microsoft, Infosys nowadays, Wipro. So there's an emphasis on stability, emphasis on settling down, and in almost all cultures, including India. And no wife ever says that go become an entrepreneur and put the family at risk, because that's what you do. Because 2, 3 years is a very stressful setup. So you have to have the drive from inside.